Hello everyone, welcome to my reading wrap up for May, and yeah, I'm a little bit late, but life got ahead of me. So I did get through 7 books, so I'm quite happy with that. So I'll start with the first book, and this is the 3rd or 4th book in the Veronica Speedwell mystery series by Deanna Raybourn. I love this series. I think there's 7 or 8 books in the series. I know the most recent one came out. I'm just waiting for a good price to nab it. And this is a dangerous collaboration. So the main characters, this takes place in the 1880s, I think it is. The main characters are Veronica Speedwell and then Stoker, who are the best duo in fiction. That's my opinion. So yeah, he's a naturalist and she's like a lobotomist. I can't. Anyway, she collects butterflies and that sort of thing. So they're helping this lord in London set up a museum and that sort of thing. But along the way, they get kind of caught up in all these adventures. So they're called to this island off the Cornish coast, and there is quite a very creepy kind of castle there, and the lord of the castle, his wife went missing on their wedding day many years ago, and they still don't know what happened to her. Is she alive? Is she dead? What happened? Did she run away? No one knows. So Stoker and Veronica and Stoker's brother go to this island, and yeah, a lot of twists and turns, and actually Stoker and Veronica, they have so much sexual chemistry. It's just ridiculous, the tension. But what I do like about this particular book is their relationship is really starting to change, and yeah, there's mystery in here. There's the great relationship. You can see the changes in everything, how their relationship is progressing. They're just 5-star reads for me. I just absolutely love this one, and this is very atmospheric. I mean, it's off the coast, off the coast of England. It's very spooky. This castle has all these secret passages. There's storms. It's just so atmospheric. Also, just such a good read. And then the next one is Beneath the Sugar Sky by Seanan McGuire, and this is the 3rd book in the Wayward Children series. Now, I did like the first 2 books. I think I gave them 5 stars. This one, not so much. I really couldn't get into this one as much as the other ones. So the House for Wayward Children is for children who, when they are children, they are, for whatever reason, their parents don't accept them, society doesn't accept them, they're bullied at school for various reasons, and at one point they go into these portals accidentally, and they end up in these worlds that are completely different from the world that we are living in, and they're accepted, and they just love those worlds that they have fallen into, but for whatever reason they do have to come back to Earth for various reasons, and they're not adjusting well. So they go to this Wayward Children's home to help kind of adjust to this world, and they're always trying to get back to these other worlds because those other worlds accept them for who they are, and they can just be themselves in that. So this one, yeah, it definitely wasn't my favorite. I don't know, it just, it was kind of all over the place, and I just didn't enjoy the plot as much as the other ones. It's just hard to put my finger on it. I just didn't like it as much as the other ones. And then the next book is The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. And so basically this young girl disappears off the beach, never to be found again. And the gentleman who lives in the last house on Needless Street was a suspect at one time, and the police were at his house and looked through it and everything, and they couldn't find any evidence, so they kind of let him go. But everyone's still pretty superstitious of him because he is definitely a little bit of an odd character. So the sister of the young girl who went missing, years later, she is trying to figure out what happened to her sister, and she starts she rents the house next door and kind of is spying on him. This is told from the point of view of the sister and also the this gentleman's teenage daughter who's supposed to live living in this house. It's told from the point of view of a cat, different points of view and that sort of thing. I didn't really find it that scary. It had a creep factor, but I didn't find it that scary. It's kind of a psychological thriller. I did figure out maybe about a third of the way through what was actually kind of happening, so that kind of made it less scary and just more fascinating than anything. It's definitely a psychological thriller. There is some mental health issues that are touched upon, and yeah, it was a very interesting read. I've never read a book quite like this. It was certainly a very original plot. It was very atmospheric. He kind of has all of his windows and that shuttered up, and yeah, it was actually just a very fascinating kind of read. I would probably give it like about 4 stars. And then this is Wild Beauty by Anna Maria McLemore, and I absolutely love the cover. I picked this up for like $5 at a thrift store, and all these flowers are embossed. It was just beautiful. I give the cover 5 out of 5. The actual writing I give like maybe 1 out of 5. Yeah, I almost DNF'd this. Almost. I should have, but it's not. I mean, it wasn't a terribly long book or anything like that, but yeah, it's just... there's a lot of characters in here. They do focus on just a few of the characters, but there's like 5 daughters, and then their 5 mothers, and then the 5 grandmothers, and they all live on this piece of land. And for generations now, they've been moving from land, like one area to another, because everyone thinks that they're just really bad luck. Every time they fall in love, their partner either dies or takes off or something. So they only give birth to daughters. Their magic is they just touch the earth and all these flowers start growing and everything like that. There's some good LGBTQ representation. There's some Latino representation, so that was fine. But yeah, the plot was just... the ending where there was kind of a conclusion, because this mysterious young gentleman, he's like 17 or 18, kind of shows up in the garden one day, and you find out about what happened in the past. It was just... I had to skim over parts. Some people said it's very lyrical, but I mean... There's a lot of description of plants and flowers, and hey, I love to garden. I love beautiful flowers, but it just seemed like a filler to me. Just all the descriptions of the gardens and the flowers. It was very repetitive. I never really got to know the characters. I know there was a lot of characters, but I never felt like I even understood them or even knew anything about them. They were just kind of skimmed over, and yeah, I just give it like 1 star. I just wasn't my cup of tea for sure. This is by Lucy Foley. This is the guest list, and I did previously read The Hunting Party, so hers are isolation thrillers. This one takes place off the coast of Ireland on this very isolated kind of island, and there is a wedding. So all the wedding party have to take a boat out to this island. And yeah, usually with her stories, you know right off the bat, either someone is missing or someone has died. You don't know who, you don't know why, you don't know anything. And so it kind of continues on while they're trying to figure out who died, because you don't really find out till the end of the story who died, why they died, anything like that. So it kind of goes back and forth from the past to the future. I really did like this one. I did like this better than The Hunting Party, actually. I really did like the characters, and The Hunting Party, it was like you hated every character. There's no redeeming qualities with any of them. But I did like the characters in here. Even the ones I didn't like, they were interesting. It was very atmospheric. There is a storm on the wedding night, and that's when the person ends up going missing. So it's very atmospheric. I did like the writing. It was interesting finding out about the character's past. And the more you found out about each character's past, you think, oh, was that the person? Was that the person? So I really did like this one. I give this like a 4.5 star. I did enjoy it. And I do have The Paris Apartment. I know that did get mixed reviews. But I do like her books. This is a favorite so far. And this is by Rachel Kane. This is the second book in the Great Library series, and this is Paper and Fire. So this is like an alternative kind of world where the Great Library of Alexandria actually didn't get burned down. It survived. The library has enormous powers. It's more powerful than the government. It's illegal to own a physical book. Everyone has like a, I can't remember what they called it on here, but it's like an iPad. But they, you can only read so many different kind of books. They only give out a very select amount of writing to the public and that sort of thing. So there is a school that you go to, and you can either become a guard, like part of the army for the library, or you become a scholar, or you become an obscurist. There's different kind of professions if you want to work for this library and that sort of thing. So yeah, I really do enjoy this series. This is the second book. I probably give this like a 5 star. I love the characters. There's also LGBTQ representation with this one. There's a lot of people from different religions, different cultures, working together, and yeah, it was actually a very somewhat fast-paced. There was kind of slow areas in that, but it was fairly fast-paced. Did have some action and that sort of thing. I do get invested in these characters, and I don't want to give away too much of the plot because it kind of might give away the first book. But this group, some of them are like in the army, some of them are scholars, but they're all working together to rescue this particular person. And yeah, and it's sort of this small group of people against the library. But yeah, I give it a 5 star. I really do enjoy this series. And this last one is actually a middle grade book, and it's by Lois Lowry. It's Number the Stars, and it won an award. So this is a middle grade book. I didn't realize it was so short. On Book Outlet, you can just click on info and it'll show you how many pages it is. It's like 130 pages, so I basically read this in one sitting. So yeah, it's middle grade, so it's not complex or anything like this. It just takes place in Copenhagen, Denmark in 1943. The Nazis have occupied Denmark for a few years, and in this story, the Nazis are starting to round up the Jews, and the residents of Denmark are trying to hide them and shelter them. So this focuses on one particular family who has a young daughter who's 10 years old, and she has a best friend who is Jewish, and her parents drop her off and say, can you pretend she's your daughter, and then we got to make arrangements to get out of Denmark and that. So it just tells a story of how the residents of Denmark were able to shelter them and move them into boats and ships to take them to Sweden, and Sweden was neutral at the time. So yeah, it was just a quick read. It's great if you have someone in middle grade. It's quite a the amount of courage that people had to shelter the people in place to keep them safe is just amazing. So yeah, pretty good book there. So so that's what I read in May. So right now I'm on my third book of the month, and this is by Erin Morgenstern, The Night Circus. So I've heard a lot about this book, and that's the back of it. I got this in Giant Tiger, which is like a chain store here in Canada, for $4.99, which is a pretty good price for this. I've been looking other places, and this is the best price I could get this for. So it's like a magic realism book. There is some kind of challenge going on between this young girl and this young gentleman. Yeah, so that's all I know so far. I just started it last night at bedtime, and I'm just on page 70, so it's a little bit slow paced at this point. Hopefully it'll pick up. We'll see. But that's what I'm reading right now. So anyway, hope everyone enjoyed, and let me know what you've been reading, and everyone take care. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.